In a land far beyond the reach of time, hidden behind colossal mountains and forgotten by humanity, lies a sealed gate. It wasn't just any gate. It was a marvel of engineering and divine will. Forged by the great King Dulcarnain, ages ago, with unparalleled wisdom and power. He erected this barrier to imprison two mighty and chaotic nations, Gog and Magog. Known for their insatiable hunger for destruction, their containment brought an era of peace to the world, a peace that lasted for countless generations. The world had known quiet, until now. As centuries turned to dust and empires rose and fell, the earth itself began to show signs of a deep, ancient restlessness. The once silent mountains groaned, their peaks trembling as if waking from a long slumber. From deep within the earth, beneath the very foundations of that ancient gate, a new sound began to emerge. At first, it was just a whisper, a faint echo of iron under immense pressure. A sound like cracking ice. But soon, it grew louder. The winds, which once carried songs of shepherds, now carried whispers of doom, foretelling a storm unlike any other. The skies, once clear and blue, began to darken with tempests that hadn't been witnessed since the dawn of mankind. In the bustling cities of men, where life moved at a relentless pace, prophets and wise elders raised their voices in warning. They pointed to the skies, to the trembling earth, and declared, "The time has come, the barrier weakens." They spoke of the ancient prophecies, of the signs foretold in sacred texts. But the people, consumed by their own achievements and lost in their pride, dismissed these warnings as the ramblings of old fools. They were busy building towers of steel and glass that pierced the clouds, creating lights that mimicked the stars, blinding them to the true darkness that was gathering on the horizon. They had forgotten the old warnings, the ones carved into stone monuments by their ancestors. Warnings of a day when the seal would break. Then came the night, a night painted in the unnerving glow of a blood-red moon. A profound silence fell over the world, a silence that was more terrifying than any noise. And then, it happened. With a deafening roar that ripped through the fabric of reality, the final seal shattered. The ancient mountains, which had stood as silent sentinels for millennia, were torn apart as if by an invisible, cataclysmic force. From the gaping abyss that opened in the earth, a horrifying tide of beings began to pour out. The forgotten tribes, Gog and Magog, had returned. Their eyes were not like human eyes. They burned with an unholy fire, a deep-seated hatred for all of creation. Their collective roar was not just a sound, it was a physical force that shook the foundations of the world. They swept across the lands like a storm of fire and shadow, a living, breathing plague of destruction. They were a force of nature unleashed, consuming everything in their path. Forests vanished in moments, rivers turned to steam, and cities were reduced to rubble. Nothing was spared. The armies of the world, with all their advanced technology and weaponry, were utterly powerless. Tanks became toys, fighter jets fell from the sky like singed moths. Entire nations, with their long histories and proud cultures, vanished from the map in a matter of days. The very oceans boiled under their relentless fury, and the air grew thick with ash and despair. Humanity, stripped of its arrogance, became a scattered, terrified remnant, fleeing to the highest mountain peaks, to the most remote caves, praying for a mercy that never came. The skies turned permanently black, choked with the smoke of a burning world. And the earth groaned in its final agony beneath the endless march of Gog and Magog. Yet, even in this absolute desolation, amid the ashes and the echoes of sorrow, a single flicker of light remained. It wasn't a king or a general, but a young, solitary wanderer. This wanderer carried nothing but an ancient, weathered book, its pages filled with script written in the sacred language of the prophets. This book was the last bastion of hope in a world consumed by despair. Within its fragile pages lay the secret of the final dawn, a prophecy that looked beyond the immediate terror. It spoke of a divine promise, a promise that after the darkest night, a new day would rise. It foretold that the reign of chaos was not the final chapter. And so, as the world trembles and shatters beneath the unstoppable march of Gog and Magog, one profound truth echoes through the ruins. This cataclysm, this horrifying end, is not merely destruction for destruction's sake. It is the necessary, terrifying prelude to something far greater. It is the beginning of the final judgment. a cleansing fire from which a new reality, governed by ultimate justice, will be born. The end is not the end, it is the beginning. Thank you for joining us on this journey through one of history's most powerful prophecies. If these stories of the past and future fascinate you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay with us as we explore more ancient mysteries. See you in the next video.